good afternoon, everyone. UNCC Meteorologist Austin McCormick here with an update on our snow potential and possibly our first accumulating snow potential for the university coming for us tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. So here is the setup right now. So we had a front move through last night, and that is since stalled just to our south. That's going to be key because we're going to see a little weak wave of low pressure move out of Texas and into the northern Gulf, and it's going to kind of skirt along this front, and that's going to provide our moisture source for this potential snow and sleet event for our area. In the meantime, we have an Arctic area of high pressure centered over the high plains and the western part of the upper Midwest. It's actually a pretty strong high. It's about a 1040 millibar high, which is actually pretty strong. Ideally, though, we would like this just to our north over parts of the mid-Atlantic and maybe even some of the New England states, just because when it's so far away, there's so much more, it takes a longer time to get here. So the air mass will actually moderate a little bit because it's got to swing all the way around the mountains into our neck of the woods. But I think the cold air is going to be established enough to where we're going to see a changeover from rain to snow with maybe a period of sleet in there as well going into the afternoon hours of tomorrow. So a lot of moving parts with this. We have this weak area of low pressure again moving along this front, but this is going to transfer its energy essentially to the coast. There's an upper level piece of energy at the same time that's going to be moving out of the southern plains. These are going to kind of merge and help to intensify this new area of low pressure that's going to form just off the coast. So parts of eastern North Carolina, as I'll show you in just a bit, we'll actually see more snow out of this than parts of the Piedmont of North Carolina here. So again, a lot of moving parts to this, but here's another view of this. So this is the satellite view. You can see the front here, so stalled frontal boundary here. You can see the cloud plume moving west-east across our area, and as you can see, this is the makings of this weak wave of low pressure that's going to be moving across our area, and the upper level piece of energy is actually still over here in the plains, but that's going to be moving in as well as we go through the day tomorrow. And again, the Arctic high pressure system spins clockwise in the atmosphere, so this is going to be sending cold air. It's got to wrap itself around the mountain, so that's why I say the cold air tomorrow won't be as cold as it would be if the high pressure were centered, say, over Pennsylvania or parts of New York or New Jersey. So but I do think the cold air is going to be established enough to where we will see a good deal of snow flakes flying tomorrow. So, and again, this could be the first accumulating snow for our area for this winter. So here are the probabilities. I always like to show this. You know, I don't like to go straight to totals, but here is just the 24-hour probability of seeing greater than 1 inch of snow. Okay, so you can see straight away there are two main areas. So eastern North Carolina, Raleigh eastward along the I-95 corridor, you could see 3 to 5 inches of snow. Why is that? Again, you can see you can see an 80 to 90% swath of seeing at least an inch of snow across this area. Why is that? Because the low is going to be cranking up along the coast. It's going to be deepening. It's going to be throwing more moisture back into the area. It's also going to reinforce the cold air that's going to be moving in at the same time. So this is going to be a target zone for seeing perhaps 3 to 5 inches of snow across that area. As you can see, 70, 80, maybe even 90% chance of seeing at least an inch of snow. Across the Charlotte area, there's kind of a void here along the 77 corridor, and especially heading south once you cross the state line into South Carolina. Not to say you won't see snow for parts of the Piedmont of South Carolina, especially probably between 26 and 77. There will be some flakes flying, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to accumulate to an inch or so. You're more likely looking like a trace to a half an inch of snow. There's also another target zone here in the western parts of North Carolina, especially the mountains. That's because the precip is going to stay snow for the entire event. Most of what we're going to see east of the mountains tomorrow morning is actually going to start out in the form of rain, but because it's going to stay snow, well, it's going to start as snow, stay snow, and end snow, these totals are going to pile up much more in parts of western North Carolina. But Charlotte is going to be an interesting setup tomorrow because I think there's something being overlooked by some of the forecasts that are being put out. So this is just the NAM model. This is an example of what I think could happen and what could bring down our snow totals just a little bit. So you see this purple swath here that the NAM model is trying to print out. This is mid to late afternoon, approaching the sunset hour. So as you can see, this purple swath here, this is the NAM trying to pick up on sleet. We could have a sleet problem tomorrow before the changeover to snow happens. So as you can see, the NAM is trying to print out a swath of sleet basically just along and south of the 85 corridor, extending into eastern North Carolina. This is just one possibility, but I have seen this happen a lot with recent storms, such as in 2018, where we saw much more sleet than anticipated. Now, no two storms are alike, but this is just one possibility, and I'll show you why. The cold air in the mid-levels, we're going to see, again, the cold air is going to be established at the surface. That's a pretty good possibility right now. But as you can see, it could be a little bit hard to see, but the 700 to 850 millibars, so just above our heads, there's going to be a little bit of a warm nose, or what we call an inversion. Why is that important? Well, this is the surface here, so this is just a vertical temperature profile of the atmosphere. So this is the x-axis, if you will, so this is just temperatures in Celsius, and then increasing altitude as you go towards the top of the screen here on the so-called y-axis. So this red line is the temperature line. This blue line that I'm trying to highlight right here is the freezing line. So as you can see, this red line, the temperature line, comes awfully close and even crosses the 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit isotherm right here. So why is that a problem? Well, even a half a degree Celsius over this line can change precip from snow to sleet, okay? And because it's already so marginal as it is, especially with some of, with this particular model and some of the other models, we could see a period of sleet before a changeover to mostly snow tomorrow afternoon. So again, this is kind of worrying because even if the overrunning event, so just moisture and warm air overrunning this cold air trapped at the surface, you can see wind barbs coming out of the north at the surface, but aloft you see the strong veering wind, so strong warm air advection. So this moisture is overrunning the cold air at the surface, and as you can see, if there's too much overrunning, this can alter the profile enough to where we could stay sleet longer than anticipated. And if that happens, that's going to bring our snow totals down, because if we're seeing a few hours of sleet versus a few hours of snow, obviously that's going to cut into some of our totals. And also, if you have a coating of snow on the ground, I've seen this with some of the previous storms, if you have a coating of snow on the ground and it changes to sleet and perhaps freezing rain, which is not likely in this setup, but this will actually weigh the snowpack down, so your snow totals actually will go down. But again, sleet ruins everything with snowfall forecasting. If you want a good snow across the Carolinas, you want it to remain predominantly snow for almost the entire time. You don't want sleet mixing in, because that'll start to eat away at some of the totals. But again, this is just one particular run of the NAM, but as you can see, let me go back. So this is likely going to start out as rain for the university area. So I'm going to go, let's see here, I'm going to go to 7 a.m. So let me go back, 7 a.m. Let me get it straight here. All right, so this is 7 a.m. for the university area. So rain moving in, a lot of this is going to evaporate before it reaches the ground, just because the cold air that's moving in is cold, but it's also very dry. So I am expecting some cooling as this precip falls from the sky and essentially turns into vapor before it reaches the ground. So this is cooling due to evaporation. So this will help cool the atmosphere down enough. I think the dew point is also going to be very crucial tomorrow. If the dew point's too high, we could stay a little bit warmer than anticipated. But the NAM is not on board with that as of yet. Some of the shorter range models are, which is a little bit concerning, but as you can see, rain on the increase from south to north at about 7 a.m. Let me go forward 3 hours here. So now we are essentially approaching the 10 a.m. and lunchtime hour. So this is around 1 o'clock tomorrow, just for your lunchtime. So this is just one particular model, but again, you can see a swath of sleet that the NAM is trying to bring about across the area with snow to our north, rain to our south. Now again, the atmosphere is going to cool as the upper level piece of energy moves overhead for tomorrow afternoon. So we will see the transition to snow. It's just how quickly does that transition happen. If it happens slowly, our snow totals are going to go down. If it's more of like a rain to snow with minimal sleet mixing in, we could see more snow. But as you can see again, a swath of sleet breaking out across, I would say, I-85 south, and then rain just for the upstate of South Carolina. I do think south of 85 in the upstate of South Carolina, you will see some snow as the system starts to pull away. So again, the low is deepening off the coast. It's throwing moisture into parts of eastern North Carolina. That's where their totals are going to be higher than say around the Charlotte area. But even parts of, parts of the Lakelands, I would say Lawrence County, Newberry County, some of the southern counties in the upstate of South Carolina can still see some lighter snow and flurries as the system is on its way out, as colder air gets funneled in behind the system. So again, this is going to be a pretty quick mover. It's not going to hang around too long. It should be done by midnight across the area. You can see the snow still lingering in parts of eastern North Carolina, but this is east of 77. So Charlotte's about right here. So this is going to be exiting the region by Friday morning for sure, and then the system is on its way out and we're done. All right, so I will show you one more thing here, or actually, just one more thing. So as you can see, this is something I like to look at a lot. So this is basically not one particular model. All right, this is a collection of models or a group of models. This is called an ensemble. All right, so this is not showing you one model. This is, as you can see, several members. You probably, I'm not sure how many members there are exactly, but there's at least 20 or so members on this screen. And what this is showing you is the ensemble mean. So where is the average right now? So for the university area, all right, the average right now is about 2 inches of snow, a little more than 2 inches of snow. All right, so that is the mean. Some of the members are higher. I'm not really on board with this 5 to 7 inches that these three members are displaying. I think somewhere in this particular from like 0 to 3 inches is more likely. And I know that's a wide range, but if we see more sleet, again, if we see more sleet, sleet ruins everything. If we see more sleet than expected, this total is going to come down. If we see less sleet, this could actually go up a little bit. So that's why I'm thinking 1 to 2 inches with less, 1 to 2 inches with more sleet across our area. And then if there's less sleet, we could see those totals rise. Maybe 2 to 3 inches of snow is certainly a possibility. So I won't show you the snowfall totals for the NAM just because the NAM is notorious for just overproducing. And you have to be careful when you look at some of these models online because it groups everything as snow and prints it out at a perfect 10-to-1 ratio. And if you've lived here long enough, you know most of the systems we see around here, they're not all snow. Okay, there's some sort of mixing going on, either at the onset, in the middle, or at the end. Okay, it's very rare we see it start snow, stay snow, and end snow. So that's what I'm looking at right now. My one concern, the one fly in the ointment, there's actually two, is going to be the dew point for tomorrow. If the dew point's relatively high, the evaporational cooling will not be as strong, and we could stay rain for longer. The other big caveat here is the sleet. If we see more sleet than expected, which I think is a possibility because this is an overrunning event where it's driven by warm air advection in the mid-levels, we could see those totals come down if we see a period of sleet tomorrow before it change over to snow as the system moves away. So I'll definitely keep you updated. I will post something on UNCZ or on my page on Facebook, and I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.